Welcome to today's Daily Dose of Digital, and today I wanted to talk to you about a situation that I'm seeing more and more often where an existing business in Australia, where I'm from, has global aspirations, and they come to me with a question: do I change from my .com.au and use a .com domain to take on the world? That's what I'm going to talk about today. So the situation where you start your business on a .com.au or a .co.uk or whatever country specific domain you're using is a pretty common one. Most businesses tend to start out in their local area and they choose a local domain because it better suits their market. But at some point, businesses grow and they choose to play a bigger game and they say, let's take on the global market. And everyone knows a global .com domain is probably the best way to approach that market. So there are typically a number of things you need to think about because the answer is never as simple as it seems. The first thing you want to consider is, what are your aspirations? Where do you want the business to be in 5 years? In the long term, do you want to sell globally? Do you want to be a global business that has customers all over the world? If that's the case, then you need to make the decision now to migrate from your in-country specific domain to the .com. You need to bite the bullet and say, yes, we're going to play the bigger game. So if that's what your plan is if that's what your aspirations are, then yes, the .com makes sense. But just be aware that the time frames are longer and the investment in time, effort, content, marketing and promotion of your .com domain is going to be much more challenging because you're playing in a bigger market with much more competitive domains. The second thing to consider is whether your business, your brand has a global audience. If the majority of your customers find you by searching for your business name online or on social media, then you're going to have an easier time making the transition from an in-country specific domain to a .com domain. And nowadays, many businesses have done this. They've built their businesses on social media or they've leveraged platforms like YouTube, and they've got global audiences, even though they're in-country specific websites. So if you have traction with a global audience, most likely it's going to be easier for you to make that transition from a .com.au or .co.uk to a .com domain. The next thing you want to consider is what percentage of your traffic comes from search engines. If a large percentage of traffic is from search engines, then there is a higher risk of losing that traffic when you make the transition from an in-country domain to a global domain. And if you do stuff it up, if your SEO doesn't migrate the domain across effectively and you lose that traffic, you potentially could lose a lot of money. On the flip side, if the majority of your traffic is referral, say from other websites or via social media or is paid, then it's less of an issue. You've got much less to lose by taking that the decision to move from a .com.au to, say, your global.com domain. The next thing you want to consider is what percentage of your search engine traffic is branded search versus commercial terms. Now, this might be where people search for your business name online, people know you from social media or other methods of promotion, and they go online, they search for your brand and they find your website. It doesn't matter whether your domain is a .com.au or .co.uk or a .com. If they're searching for the brand, they will find you. If your business relies, though, on ranking specifically for very commercial terms and that are not branded terms, then there is a larger risk of losing that traffic when you do the migration. The reason being, playing in a global domain is much more competitive. Ranking in the global space for specific keyword phrases that may have been easier, that you may have had page 1 rankings for in your specific geography, taking that global is a much more challenging process. And the last thing you want to consider is, where do all your links come from? If you've got links from all over the world, from blogs in different countries and the US and England and whatnot, then it probably reflects the fact that your business has a broad appeal and you've got marketing down pat to a global audience and people are linking to you from all over the place. But if your link profile is primarily in country and no one outside of your country knows you, then it probably indicates that you've got a lot of work to do to promote your business globally to attract those links. So you see, it's never a simple answer to the question, do I move from my in-country top-level domain to my global.com domain? There are a number of things to consider. Depends on where your business is, depends on whether you have a global audience, it depends on the composition of your search engine traffic, it depends on whether people are finding you for brand or via commercial terms. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you subscribe. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'll see you tomorrow.